What's going on? So today's video is my experience in basic training part 3. So in my earlier videos, I was talking about from in process and getting there to finally getting the basic training and pretty much them going over the ropes of what we be doing. All right, so now I'm about 2 weeks in. I'm used to this lifestyle at the point. The first 2 weeks to me was the hardest. Getting used to getting up extremely early in the morning, just the anxiety of not knowing, still not grasping. I'm in the military now, I'm in basic training, what are we going to be doing? But after the 2 weeks, you get used to the lifestyle, and it just becomes like repetitive as far as how things go throughout the day. So you get up in the morning, get up like early. I used to get up at like 5 in the morning. I would already have my PTs on, and I'd just hop up, brush my teeth, and have myself down in formation. Now, after that debacle that I was telling y'all about in the prior video, what we learned was that whatever happens to one person, it affects everybody. So we all got to look out for each other. Even if I don't like you, if I can't stand you, all that stuff, we still got to look after each other. So from then on out, when we get up in the morning, somebody's still asleep, hey bro, get up. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's making sure everybody's straight. So now we're all making sure we in formation when we're supposed to be in formation, and we standing at parade rest, and slowly but surely we're gaining discipline and we're learning teamwork. All right, so a basic day consists of getting up in the morning, having formation, and then we would do PT. We would do like some minor PT. Sometimes some days we would run, which I was horrible at for a long time. I couldn't run for nothing, but we would run sometimes. Some days we would do like more muscle endurance and things of that nature. After that, we would march to the DFAC, the cafeteria. We'd have breakfast. We'd come back, march back to where we were at, hop in the shower, change into our uniform, and we'd go down into the classroom. So there were classrooms broke up by platoon. Remember how I was telling y'all in the other video, we were broken up by the color tape, and I was red. So my platoon, I was in a red platoon. Our platoon name was the Punishers. I'll never forget them. I'll never forget my drill sergeants. So we'd be in the classroom. We learned about whatever lesson it was for that day. We did land navigation. We learned how to get coordinates, plot coordinates on the map. You learned how long it would take you to get to that particular coordinate, and then we'd go and exercise what we learned in class. We learned about rifle marksmanship. We learned how to shoot. Like I said, we learned about leadership. We learned about the history of the Army. I remember doing a lot of obstacle courses. We did a lot of obstacle courses where it consisted of you working as a team to be able to navigate through these courses. Like, I remember this wall, it was high, and in order for you to get over this wall, you wasn't gonna be able to do it on your own. So you had to figure out, how can I do this? And of course, you got a team. So when we figured out, get the tallest person, step on that person's back to get over. One person gets up on the top, and they're hanging over to grab the other people until everybody gets over the wall. It's like different stuff. Land navigation, oh my goodness. Land navigation, I had no idea, and I didn't pay attention. And we actually had a real exercise on land navigation where they took us out in like the wilderness, and they gave us coordinates, and we were broken up into teams of 2, and they were like, plot your points and then go to those places that you plotted. When you get to that particular place, if you did it right, there was like a person, like a dummy, and they would have like a number on them on a card, and you would get that number and you would write it on your paper by the plot point that you plotted. No 2 groups had the same plot points, so it wasn't like, oh, I could just follow somebody and get their number. Everybody had different plot points, and we had like 3 hours to do it, and we had like 4 plot points. Now luckily my partner knew what he was doing, and I just, I winged it. I did the best that I could, and then I finally understood, and I learned it from him. And then when we got back, we stayed out there. We had MREs, meals ready to eat. It's these meals that are in these like zip air dried bags or whatever, and you would it had like it had like a bag that had like some gunpowder or something in it, and you put water in it, and it would boil the water, and you can put the food in there to cook it. So we ate that whenever we went out to the field. And for those of you who do not know, the field is like when you doing the exercise out in nature. Whenever we went to the field, we would eat MREs. That night we had to do night land navigation, where now it's completely dark, same thing. And but it was fun. It was fun. We went to the range. I never shot before in my entire life, so I'm learning all this new. When you think about shooting, right, and you see the movies where they literally grab a gun and then just start shooting and they hitting everything, that's not how it happens in real life, all right? At least not with assault rifles, all right? The first thing that happens when you get your weapon is you have to group in zero. You have to adjust your weapon sights that fits you in particular, so that when you shoot, it's going to hit the target. So I remember being at the range, and the first thing you do is group in zero. And pretty much, like I said, the process is you shooting at a target, and after you shoot a certain amount of times, you'll go look at the target, and the sergeants will figure out how your sights need to be adjusted based on how you're hitting the target and things of that nature. And they will just keep adjusting it after every round of you shooting until it gets to the point where you're hitting what you're supposed to hit. And I almost didn't pass the range. I don't know what. I don't know if it was my breathing or whatever, but when you shooting, it's about breathing. It's about keeping the weapon firm, like holding the weapon firm, because when you shoot, it's going to give you kickback. And if you got kickback, that's going to affect your aim. So a lot of things came into play, but I ended up overcoming, and I was shooting. I was hitting. Pop, pop, pop. We had pop-up targets. The farthest meter of a target is 300 meters. So it will be 50 meters, 100 meters, 150, 200, 250, and 300. And then you will have random targets pop up. And your goal is to get 40. If you get 40 out of 40, you know, you that dude. You know what I'm saying? You got that Hawkeye. And they used to say 40 rounds when I was in Fort Jackson. That's why I went for basic training. We went through a couple of exercises. We went through buddy exercises where we actually had live rounds, and it'd be you and another partner, and y'all would navigate through this obstacle course, and you learn how not to friendly fire your partner. You learn not to point the weapon towards them and vice versa. So if one person is going that way, you'll be facing the opposite way and holding the weapon the opposite way and things of that nature. And you would navigate through the course, and these pop-ups pop up, and you shoot it, take cover. You know, you learn how to command a squad, how to disassemble your squad into specific type of positions, you know, just a whole bunch of different stuff. But I'm gonna go more into detail on that. I'm about to go back into the station, continue doing what I'm doing, but that is pretty much part 3 of basic training, and I'll keep going on with this.